From SF Land, this is Dorking Out, a podcast for people who love to dork out about movies, TV, and everything pop culture.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and it's our time to dance. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Jump back.
If you can't tell, in this episode, we're dorking out about 1984's Footloose. Not the remake. I never saw the remake. Did you see the remake?
Fuck no.
Hell no. I'm not seeing that. Fuck that remake. Although I'm sure it's perfectly fine. Whatever. Footloose is 35 years old this year. 35.
I can't even believe that.
I know. God, I feel that makes me feel old. If for some reason you haven't seen Footloose, you might be married to me. Actually, my husband has never seen Footloose. It stars Kevin Bacon and Laurie Singer, Chris Penn, Sarah Jessica Parker, Dianne Wiest, and John Lithgow. It's directed by Herbert Ross, and it was the fucking biggest thing in 84. It was huge. The soundtrack was everywhere. The movie played forever. This was a big deal. Did you see it in the theater, Margo?
Yes, I did, even though I don't want to admit I was alive. I think that makes me old. But yes, I did see it in a theater. I was excited to see it in a theater, and I had a really good friend at the time, and she loved that soundtrack so much. Mm-hmm. She played it on a big boombox over her shoulder and would be walking around Ridgewood, New Jersey, and you would hear her, and she played that soundtrack over and over again.
I love it. I love it. I had that soundtrack too. I had it on vinyl. So
purist.
Yes, I listened to it all the time. And I was trying to remember how I saw Footloose. I'm pretty sure I saw it in a double feature with Purple Rain.
Oh my God.
At the Regency in Pleasant Hill.
I'm pretty sure I saw it by itself.
Yeah, I think what happened was I didn't see Footloose when it first came. I didn't see it right away. And then Purple Rain came out, and at some point they played together, and I'm pretty sure that's how I saw it. I emailed my mom to get confirmation of that, and she's like, I really don't remember, but that sounds right. Okay, thanks, Mom.
But you don't remember all my movies, Mom?
I know. God damn it, Mom. What good are you?
Mom.
But the soundtrack was everywhere. It had so many hits. I actually wrote down, where is it? Here. It's Almost Paradise, Holding Out for a Hero, Dancing in the Sheets, Footloose, the song Footloose, Let's Hear It for the Boy. All of these songs were on the radio, at the same time. Really, really big soundtrack.
I have a feeling I am admitting something really dorky here. Because it is the Dorking Out show. Footloose, the song by Kenny Loggins, is one of my favorite songs of all time. And when I'm down in the dumps, it's one of my go-tos.
It's
amazing, that song.
It's catchy as fuck.
Oh my God. And it just builds.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, loose. Okay.
They still play it at every wedding.
Oh yeah. I'm convinced if somebody is standing on top of a bridge and they're ready to jump, if you played them Footloose, they'd kind of all right, I'll talk to you, officer.
The world isn't completely awful. Footloose exists.
It just has this hopefulness to it and this joy that's so innocent and fun.
Yeah.
And it's they play it 3 times in this movie. They could play it 3 more times and I would be totally happy. I'm not normally like that.
I have seen this movie more times than I can count. It was always on HBO back in the day, and then it was always on TNT or TBS or one of those USA or things like that. It is my dad. It's one of his favorite movies, and I've done a whole episode of Dorking Out with my dad, and if you want to go back in, you can listen to it. But, he'll say, Rio Bravo with John Wayne's his favorite, but it's really Footloose. Footloose is his favorite movie. He fucking loves it. So we've watched it a million times. I have it memorized. But I watched it again the other day, and I'm like, yeah, this movie has definitely got some things that are problematic. But that song Footloose has now been in my head for like 3 days.
And you can't help but sing along.
Yeah. For 3 days, I've been walking around.
Yeah.
Everybody cut loose. Footloose. Like,
I'm just like this. I lose my goddamn mind. It makes me so happy.
oh, I love it.
And it's not a happy story.
No.
No. It's a huge bummer a lot of the times.
This movie's fucking weird. It actually,
Yes.
let's start with this. Do you like Footloose, the movie? Or do you, I mean, you probably loved it back in 84. Did you like it on the rewatch?
I did, but then I was really upset with Ariel and how people treated Ariel.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this is clearly a 25-year-old woman, and why is everybody bossing her around and trying to tell her what to do with her life?
Yeah, I mean, they're all too old to be playing teenagers.
Except for Chris Penn and Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
They're like still technically teenagers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change the casting because, when you get younger actors, sometimes they're not as strong
Right.
at acting. So, if you get Kevin Bacon, okay, give me somebody who looks kind of like his age.
Right.
And I'll go along with it. And she does.
Yeah.
And they look great together.
They do.
They look amazing together. And I love Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, we all do.
Who doesn't? I'm helpless. But the stuff that happens to her, and I get it because, she's in this Christian family and it's patriarchal and stuff. But Ariel, like in 10 years, is going to be like a goth.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
She's living in the East Village with her girlfriend. Something's going on with Ariel.
That was also the problem I had rewatching this, and I was like, she gets hit multiple times in this movie. There's a lot of like comments about her like sleeping around.
You've kissed a lot of guys, haven't you?
Yeah, pale by comparison. It's like, well, fuck you. Like,
that's your insecurity, dum dum.
Yeah, and like kind of the idea that she wants to get out of town so bad, which, I could totally understand. She's clearly not meant for that small town girl, small town life.
Who is, by the way?
Right.
I'm sorry. That's fucking Boringsville where they're living. I mean, and it still exists. There are lots of towns. I have a friend that grew up in Oklahoma. Hey, Brandy, she listens to the show.
Oh, hi, Brandy.
She says, like in Oklahoma, where she's like, there's lots of pockets of towns just like that. There's no dancing.
I was just going to ask, is it illegal to dance?
It is, and and my grandmother grew up Baptist, and she would tell me stories in South Carolina growing up. Like it was a really big deal. Like she couldn't dance. She's like, but there's all these great, she said Negro music. That was when she was being politically correct for her.
Right.
If you get my drift. But she would just say like, dancing led to sex, led to babies, led to sin.
And this movie, that's what this movie's about, by the way, in case you haven't seen Footloose. It is about like Kevin Bacon is like comes from a big town, moves to this small town, and in this small town it is illegal to dance, and all he wants to do is dance. So like, it turns into a thing. But this in the 80s there was a big thing where like the biggest problem it seemed in the world for a while was rock music and its lyrics and what it was doing to our kids, and this was kind of like tapping into that a little bit, like the idea of like dance and rock and things like that lead to sex,
promiscuity, and that kind of thing. You're just flashing that in my head. There was this case in the 80s. There was this two teenage boys that listened to Judas Priest. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And they listened to it. That was in Reno, Nevada, Sparks, Nevada, where my parents lived for years.
Oh my gosh.
And I knew people who heard about that, and they were like, no, they were just high and they shot themselves. There was no but there was this whole thing at the time, like, because at one point he plays, is it Quiet Riot?
Yeah.
Bang Your Head.
No, you're right. It's Bang Your Head.
Bang Your
Head. Yep.
It's the whitest movie in the world.
For sure.
There's no R&B. Well, except for Dancing in the Sheets.
Yeah.
Okay, that's that one point. But that's a song. But there's no people of color.
No.
Jewish, like it's white and Christian as it gets. But it is a whole thing, like rock music is the devil's music, which is like the 80s were a lot like the 50s in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the kind of messages we got. We also had like AIDS started happening in the mid 80s, and that started being a part of the consciousness. So,
Yeah.
Gay people were a problem. Rap music was a problem. Like all these things that threaten white people were a problem.
Yes. There's also a scene in here where they start burning books.
Okay.
Yeah.
They start burning books. And Ariel's father, played by the 39-year-old, it turns out, John Lithgow, because he only looks like a dozen years older than his own daughter. And I love John Lithgow. Always put him in a movie. I'll be okay. But in one scene, he and his daughter are having kind of a showdown where he's the preacher, tells everybody what to do. And she tells him, I'm fucking guys. I'm going to get out of here pretty much soon, just so you know. And he's upset about it. And then the very next scene, they're burning books. And then he's giving this big speech on how burning books is wrong.
Yeah.
When he's been totally okay with everything else being banned because his son died being an asshole driving drunk off a bridge.
Yes.
It's unbelievable. He changes, like the editing in this
on
movie.
A dime.
On a goddamn dime.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I still like this movie.
I do too.
Dianne Wiest looks really young. I think she's only like 34.
I love Dianne Wiest in this movie.
Me too. Me
too.
too.
There's a scene where Kevin Bacon is giving like a big speech to the town council, right, to get the law abolished. And some woman stands up like, this is outrageous, blah, 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 blah. And Dianne Wiest just says like, Eleanor, sit down. Ren has a right to be heard. And I'm like, yeah, you tell her, Dianne Wiest. You're awesome. And she's so soft-spoken and so sweet. And
it is the epitome of a thankless part.
It really
that she
is.
Makes good. Yeah.
They all do. Yeah. I think that's one of the things I like about the movie. And I think people, even with these like smaller parts, make those characters stand out a little bit. Like my dad super loves the man who runs the mill.
I like the man who runs the mill.
That dude, it's Andy, I think is his name. And
he's a good guy.
Yeah, and he's a good guy. He's got like 4 lines. My dad loves him. Thinks he's like the smartest character in the movie. Like thinks he's awesome.
Because he's the guy that knows how everything is run, but he is like old-fashioned that way, but he's cool enough to give Ren a chance where everyone is freaked out by Ren's haircut. I guess there's no MTV where they are.
I guess not.
Like they haven't, I guess not. But not only he like employs Ren, who's Kevin Bacon, but he actually says, spoiler, you can have the dance in my goddamn barn.
Yeah.
Like if the town is going to be okay with it, like they won't hold it in the city limits, you can have it here.
Yeah.
So he
make
actually
think
is
about
a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make him think about it and hear it. And and so Lori, we should say Lori Singer is the love interest to Ariel.
Mm-hmm.
And they make her behave like a lunatic, like that scene between the cars when she's straddling the cars to the Sammy Hagar song.
Yeah. They establish right off the bat, like, this is Ariel. She's fucking batshit insane. And she's trying to make everybody forget that she's the preacher's daughter.
It's very, and it's that whole trope of she's very promiscuous and dangerous and stuff. But she and Ren have a connection and they like each other right away. And they look great together and they dance great together. I love Chris Penn in this movie much.
He's my favorite. He was
Willard is the best.
He was my pick for MVP of this movie. I think Chris Penn is absolutely hilarious in this movie.
R.I.P.
I know. He's just so funny and he's so sweet. And I like how, I don't know, Willard is really nice to Ren, like kind of right off the bat. And like they kind of have this, exchange where he says like, watch where you're going or whatever. And then Ren says like, I like your hat. Do they sell men's clothes where you got it? That sort of thing. And they become friends really fast. And I like that they've always got each other's back. And there's a whole sequence where, Margo, my co-host for Book vs. Movie, always says like she hates montages where I like montages. I do too.
I kind of like it. It moves the story along for me. But the montage where Willard learns to dance,
Mm-hmm.
and they play the whole song.
Yes.
And it's the perfect song, and it's the perfect pace. Like, of course, you have to learn the beat and then the steps, and then he dances with his little sisters, and then he can dance on his own. And I'll never forget like how happy that made me. Like the first time I saw that, and every time I see it, I love Chris Penn just like shuffling his little feet,
Mm-hmm.
back and forth. I love it.
And you could tell like he's just having such a good time.
Yeah.
You know, I would assume that Chris Penn can probably dance somewhat in real life. And like the idea, it must be really hard to act like you can't dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
To like make yourself not go on the beat would, I don't know. Seems like it would be difficult, but I just think he's so sweet in this movie, and I think he's really funny with Sarah Jessica Parker, like super young Sarah Jessica Parker. I don't think she had done anything really big before this. Like she did Broadway. She was in Annie.
Oh no, Square Pegs.
Oh, and Square Pegs. That's right. You're right. Duh. What's wrong with me? And then, of course,
is everything.
What I think the next year was the movie Girls Just Want to Have Fun, which is on my list.
Which is on my list. I love it.
Yeah. And that's another one where her dad like doesn't want her to dance, and she's secretly dancing and stuff like that. But it actually kind of boggles my mind that they have Sarah Jessica Parker in this movie, and she really doesn't really get to dance. Like, not really.
There's that one scene where they go to the bar
Mm-hmm.
and they dance to Hurt So Good.
Yeah.
And she starts to dance. But you're right. They didn't let her really go.
I'm like, because she can actually dance.
Yes, she can.
Oh, gosh. That whole bar scene is so hilarious. Like, just that they can just walk in, they can order beer.
Of course, because they're 25 years old.
They're all they're all too old to be teenagers.
Yes, like Kevin Bacon was 26.
Yeah.
And Laurie Singer was 27 at the time. I'm like, of course they can walk into a bar, where they are. Like, it's not going to be a big deal. And why aren't they going there every weekend? Why isn't every kid in that town going to that bar? Like,
seriously.
what are you doing with yourselves?
You fucking nerds. They're all hanging out at that soda shop or whatever.
Right.
We're
dancing all at the same time.
All dancing at the same time because one person has the balls to play Dancing in the Sheets.
Like, they don't have a radio there. I mean, seriously, it's really that bad that they don't even have that. I mean, it's just...
You would like that town, Margo. According to Willard, they have Family Feud.
No, I didn't remember that part. Family Feud's my favorite show. Yeah, that would make me happy. But
See?
other than that...
It's totally fine.
Yeah, it's way too much church for me.
Definitely too much church. Let's talk about Chuck. Chuck is Ariel's boyfriend. When Ren moves to town, like, she has this boyfriend, is Chuck, who clearly has graduated from high school but is dating high school girls. He's an ass, so fuck him. He's a loser. Ren is like backing out of a parking space and almost hits Chuck's car. And by car, I mean his huge truck.
Pickup.
Right? Because duh. And then he makes fun of Ren for wearing a tie, and Ren calls him an asshole. And next thing you know, Chuck's like, I'm challenging you to a tractor chicken fight or whatever, the chicken race with tractors. And I'm like, that escalated quickly. All of this because he almost hit your car? It's really weird.
It's as if he knows Ariel's going to be sleeping with him soon.
Exactly. Chuck's read the script.
Yeah. I'll say this, though. Chuck is super cute. I know. I'm so
He's
shallow.
testing us. He's testing us.
I know. He's an asshole, but he's so cute. I still remember the first time saying that. We're like, ooh. But then he hits her, and which of course is bad. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
And his friends are assholes. But the other kids are nice.
Yeah. So they do this chicken race, playing chicken with the tractors or whatever. And all of Ariel's friends are on Ren's side. And Ariel's over with Chuck and like his loser friends. And I'm like, isn't that a red flag to you? Ariel?
Yeah.
When all your friends are like rooting for Kevin Bacon to fuck over your boyfriend. Come on,
And
Ariel.
the only reason he wins is because his shoelace is tied
I
to
know.
the thing. That always like makes me crazy. But yeah, but Chuck loses, and then he and Ariel, it's a pretty racy scene for the time, you know, that they're post coitus, you know, having a thing, and then later on she immediately likes Ren and wants the intel, like what's going on with this guy, and then they start having a relationship, and then Chuck gets really jealous. And then they beat the crap out of each other, but like, he really slugs her.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that Kevin Bacon doesn't try to kick his ass later. Aren't you?
Yeah. I am kind of surprised, but I wrote in my notes, I'm like, we already know Chuck is a dick. I'm like,
right.
Did we have to turn him into a violent prick who hits her when she tries to break up with him?
And she walks around with a black eye that nobody asks about.
Yeah, right. Her parents aren't what the fuck?
Don't say, what the fuck happened to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Or, you know, I mean, as Rusty says with Chuck, you know, I never thought he had all of his dogs barking anyway.
Rusty and her expressions, I'm telling you. That makes your toes curl. Don't tell me it doesn't. Like, what? You're from New York. You're from New York, Sarah Jessica Parker.
So then after the tractor race, Ren goes home and his like uncle is there and like, you know, I heard that there were some kids like racing tractors and I heard that there was drugs at the school, and totally blames Ren for it. And I'm like, Uncle Wes can fuck off forever. That dude's an asshole. He's a huge asshole.
Like Ren can do all this damage, just one person.
Yes.
In a huge school.
Yes.
Well, you know, he's from Chicago there.
So there you go.
Yeah.
He must be super guilty. He's just such a huge dick. And there's just this whole thing about, I'm like, why doesn't Ren's mom step in and go, fuck off, back off?
I wonder what the situation is. Like, she must be really broke. I think it's the same thing like Dianne Wiest in Lost Boys. Like she's divorced and broke and she has to live with relatives and it's not her choice, but she's going to make the best of it.
Yeah.
And but they don't want to teach Slaughterhouse-5. I mean, it's very cartoon version of a Christian town that hates people, but I'm sure it happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of Kevin Bacon's big dance sequence in the warehouse with all the gymnastics?
I always thought it was a little goofy, but I kind of love it at the same time. But every time he's like in mid something and Ariel shows up and it's just before his finish.
Yeah.
And I always have that frustration. Like he was almost done. Like, do we really need Lori Singer now? Like let him finish and then have her come in. It's just always like that interruption.
I know.
But you could tell there's like 3 or 4 doubles. Like they're all just different sizes and everything. But I love it. I don't care. I love it. Ren needed to get that energy out.
Yeah. He just wants to dance.
He doesn't want to beat up people.
No.
No, his intentions are good.
He's a dancer, not a fighter.
He's a good kid.
He is a good kid. What's with all the gymnastics in this movie? Like, this is a small town. Why do they have a gymnastics team?
And it's big.
Right?
I think it's like if you can't dance and you need to move, like maybe gymnastics is how you go, or wrestling.
Gymnastics is too much like dancing, and dancing leads to sex.
I think when somebody was just like, pansy, somebody actually used the expression pans, and that felt old to me then.
Yeah.
But now I crack up hilarious. I'm like, oh, pansy. Oh, start. You goober. Yeah.
Oh, what else? Let's see. They go over the state line. They go dance. Willard can't dance at all. We talk about that. Needs to learn. And then Reverend Moore, that's John Lithgow's character, confronts Ariel and he slaps her.
Yeah. Well, she's mouthy.
Yeah. Ariel, sometimes, according to Sean Connery, you just have to smack a lady.
Yeah, but I've seen a lot of movies with that.
Yeah.
You know, where like a man and a woman are yelling at each other and the woman says something and the guy just hits her and then she just walks out of the room and then that's just it. There's no consequences. There's no, I think it's just a trope of the time. But she then tries to make up with her dad, like I said, and she has the whole scene. And he's the town preacher, like he has to have lunch with these ladies. And he feels the burden of everybody wanting him to be the moral arbiter. And he lost his son a couple of years before, which must have been terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't, that must be awful. And his wife is such a nice lady. And boy, doesn't she look like she wants to go to New York or Chicago? I mean, don't you think
Yeah, she does.
Dianne Wiest just looks like, oh my God, get me the fuck out of here.
She looks like,
oh my God,
I'm playing the part of a preacher's wife in a school production of something. And this is what I think a preacher's wife would dress like.
As soon as he's dead, she's out of town.
Yeah.
Like she's like planning her goodbyes. Yeah. There's a lot of like thankless like tropes, but I find the music really good.
Yes.
I like it when so he does the whole scene. There's a scene where they have to meet the town council. And of course, they're not going to go along with it all the way, but they're going to hold it at the mill because Andy's an awesome guy and lets them go to the mill. And I like how everybody works together, that whole montage. They all work together to clean things up and make it nice.
To the song I'm Free by Kenny Loggins.
Which I love Kenny Loggins too, I have to say.
Same. I'm not
He's
made
an
of stone.
emotional writer. No, yeah, exactly. Uncle. I cry uncle.
Yeah.
I can't resist it.
What's your favorite song on the soundtrack?
It's got to be Footloose, which I know is a basic thing to say, but I'm Free is probably my second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like Holding Out for a Hero.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that the TV theme song, too, that for some show in the 80s?
Probably.
It's one of those songs we heard a lot when we were. And then How Much Do You Love Almost Paradise? That old drippy ballad. Paradise!
Such
with the guy from Loverboy and the woman from Heart.
Yeah,
I mean, what's more perfect in 80s?
So 80s. And like just the epitome of like the 8th grade slow dance song.
Oh, my God.
Like with the like arm length, between while you're slow dancing. You guys can't see it, but that's what I'm doing right now. Like with the arms out. Like, I have another random question. Why does Chuck care if there's a dance?
Because Chuck can't dance because Chuck is in a gay panic.
Maybe that's it. Like
he
doesn't even go to the school. Why is he hanging around there all the time? And why does he care if they have a senior dance to the point where he shows up at the dance to kick Ren's ass?
Well, he has all his friends and they're like, don't you want to dance? That's for pansies. And they just take off. Like, you don't have to dance at the dance. There's going to be girls there and you can sneak booze. That's what everybody's doing. Like, what is your problem? But no, I think Chuck's in a gay panic.
I think so too. Because like he even sends like his stupid little minions to, the store or whatever where Ren is. And like, they like assault him basically. Chuck heard that you're trying to get a dance started. It's like, so what?
Get a life, Chuck. I don't know what Chuck does all day, but he needs to get hobbies.
Also, I watched this movie so much on cable that I forgot that there were unnecessary butt shots of all the guys in the shower.
Unnecessary or awesome?
No, I'm sorry. When I said unnecessary, I meant awesome.
They're all over 18, I'm sure, so I'm okay with it.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was just funny. I was like, oh, yeah.
There's some nudity here.
I forgot. Sweet. It's just really weird. It's just a weird thing in this movie. Like, yeah, okay, sure. We're going to throw some butts in there. I'm like, I'm into it. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then we got the burning books.
Yes.
Banning, dancing, burning books. And I wrote, cool town. Chuck hits her. And
no consequences.
No consequences for that. And then she calls Ren to come and get her. And she says, will you ever kiss me? And I wrote in my notes, you just got punched in the mouth. Do you really want to kiss right now? Hey, I have this huge fat lip and my gums are bleeding. You think you'll kiss me?
You want to make out?
You want to make out? Boy, do I. So weird.
Oh, poor Ariel.
I know. It's I don't love the way Ariel is treated in this movie, actually.
No.
But I still love the movie so much. What do you think of Ariel's prom dress?
It's very 80s. It's very prim and proper.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was
But
I thought it was too prim and proper for Ariel.
yeah. But I think what she would really wear would be something sleekier and sexier.
Mm-hmm.
And she could wear anything. She's so tall and thin. She could
Right.
literally look good in anything. I think she's just trying to toe the line so her parents will let her go.
That's true. Good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love Ren's tux.
Oh, he looks great.
He's got a good sense of style.
He does, and I like how everybody looks at the prom. I know some of it's a little 70s-ish, but that makes sense to me. The kids are cute.
They are. And when I first saw this movie, I thought, I figured they show up and like nobody's dancing because nobody.
And I like that.
Yeah, and because nobody wants to be first, and that's always true. Like at school dances, like.
And I find that sometimes, I don't know about you, but like a lot of weddings and stuff I go to too, like it takes a while to get people warmed up to do it.
Booze helps.
Maybe white people. Yeah.
Yeah, white people were so fucking lame. But the first time I saw this movie, I thought, oh shit, the whole town, no one knows how to dance.
Right.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh my God, they're all like Willard. None of them know how to dance. I mean, they grew up in a town that banned dancing. It's possible. Also, I would really want to go to that dance. They look like they're having a good time.
The food looks great. They have like the pies and stuff like that.
I want to eat those pies, and then I'm going to dance.
Then if I get too hot, you walk outside and just take in the moonlight and then go back in. I agree with you. It sounds like so much fun.
I just think that they look like they're having such a good time. My husband did wander into the room at the end and was commenting on the camera work in the dance scene at the end.
It's a little weird.
Because they basically put like lights around the camera. So it's like almost like the camera is framed with lights or something. And David's like, and then there's glitter everywhere, but there's no glitter on the ground. And he's like, what's happening?
It's very disorienting. They do make definite choices where they just treat that last dance, a lot of glitter in that last dance sequence, like, which they wouldn't be. It's not a gay club. I mean, it's not like there's no.
It's raining men.
Right. And that's a pain in the ass to clean up. You know, if you've ever had to try to clean up that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like once the music starts, once again, Footloose.
Yeah.
And everyone just starts getting into it. And then the guys do their thing and then the women do their thing. And there's a girl he has a really curvy body and she's just like shaking her moneymaker.
She is sexy.
Sexy as shit. I'm like, I'm loving this. It makes me so happy.
It's just that scene actually kind of cracks me up because she's really sexy. And she's a grown-ass woman. Like, that's a grown woman. And the boy who's looking at her and, like, puts his glasses on looks like he's 12.
Yes.
Like, it's, like, a really weird, like, cut.
They're an odd pairing.
Like he puts his glasses on and he's like, Mom?
But there's the one guy that has the suspenders and he kind of, like, works the suspenders and he does a little tumble. And there's a guy that does the robot kind of thing.
Yeah, they've got the like popping and locking going on, but it's all white people.
Somebody there stole cable and was watching MTV, and maybe they were charging people to come over and like check out MTV. So they got some dance moves because they knew something. Like, these are not novices, but I don't care. It makes me happy. As soon as they go, I don't know. It just puts it's the cherry on top of the sundae. I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah, no, it's super, super fun. And once again, why is Sarah Jessica Parker not dancing? All these people are dancing. Can we have Sarah Jessica Parker dance?
Why didn't they let her dance? Maybe she had an injury or something, because she can dance.
I know. So weird to me.
Yeah.
Did you read about some of the people that they thought they wanted to cast in this movie?
I heard it was Tom Cruise.
Yeah. At one point it was Tom Cruise. What happened? Because they actually really liked him in Risky Business, but he was unavailable because he was doing All the Right Moves.
Oh yeah.
And then Rob Lowe apparently was also maybe going to play the lead. But he had to go and make something really shitty like St. Elmo's Fire instead. God, the movie's so bad. Please go back and listen to our St. Elmo's Fire.
We covered St. Elmo's Fire, please. Yes.
That's an epic episode. I read that Madonna auditioned for Laurie Singer's role.
I'm sure she auditioned for everything in
Right?
1984. Yeah.
That's true. Daryl Hannah turned down the role to play Madison in Splash.
Thankfully.
I think that was a good choice, Daryl Hannah. And then pretty much like everyone auditioned for Laurie Singer's role, according to this list. It's like Melanie Griffith, Michelle Pfeiffer, Jamie Lee Curtis, Rosanna Arquette, Meg Tilly, like Heather Locklear, Meg Ryan.
But nobody like 18 or 19 years old. There really was nobody talented that could do that.
Yeah. Diane Lane is on here and Brooke Shields is on here. Like, they would have been the right age. Maybe Bridget Fonda would have been the right age, but a lot of these...
Bridget Fonda would have been good.
Yeah. Or Jennifer Jason Leigh is on this
totally.
list. She would have been the right age. Jennifer Jason Leigh is too serious for a movie like this.
No, you know what? I like Laurie Singer in the part. I think she's great. Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to her? She did like The Man with One Red Shoe, and then did she do anything else?
The funny thing about her, and I remember this, is my brother Joe was obsessed with David Letterman and would record him every night in the 80s. And he would watch it in the afternoon the next day. Laurie Singer did a movie, The Man with One Red Shoe, and Letterman interviewed her, and she was super, super awkward. But at one point she was like, yeah, it's a movie about a spy who finds a woman. And I wish it was a little bit funnier, but it's a good movie. And it was just like, oh, for fuck's sakes, woman, you had one job.
Her PR people are like, Singer!
And it's so funny to watch because he's like, oh, and Letterman just jumps in like, oh, okay, thanks. Like,
cool, you just saved me $7 or
yeah, exactly, or whatever it cost at the time. But I don't think she was like I don't think she wanted to be a big movie star. Who knows? I don't know. I'd be curious to see what she's doing now.
Yeah.
I think she's great here though.
She is. Everybody is.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons the movie is still fun to watch. And probably, I mean, like I said, I didn't watch the remake.
No.
But I can't imagine that it has like this kind of fun that this one has, and the performances. Everyone's just really likable.
I totally
agree.
Except
for Chuck.
Chuck, but he's so cute though. I still think he's cute. I'm so cheesy that way.
So of course I went down like a whole rabbit hole on the soundtrack because the soundtrack was so huge, and I could not believe this. It didn't win anything for music.
Stop it. Jump back.
So it was nominated for, so Footloose, the song, was nominated, and Let's Hear It for the Boy was nominated, and Ghostbusters was nominated, and Against All Odds.
Against All Odds won, right?
And I super love that song. And
yes.
I Just Called to Say I Love You from The Woman in Red by Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, that was a big song.
And that's the song that won. And I think it's interesting, like, all of those songs were big songs.
It'll be huge.
Like, I feel like now when you get, like, the best original song, there's, like, 2 songs you recognize and then 3 that you're like, what the fuck? What? Oh, that must have played.
Sheryl Crow? What?
Yeah, it's always a Sheryl Crow song.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Something that played over the credits of
Randy Newman.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, exactly.
You know, oh, it's the Dolly Parton song from Beethoven's Second. Awesome. Like, why is that nominated? Just things like that. But I mean, these were all big, big hits. Also, strangely, no Purple Rain. Purple Rain came out the same time. It's not nominated for anything here. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. I mean, yeah.
I mean, come on, go.
But I don't like that song.
No, but I mean, like, anything off the soundtrack. They could have done Let's Go Crazy.
Yeah, no, that's the best song of the year. Yeah.
Ghostbusters, come on. Is it really the best song from a movie that year?
But, when you watch that movie, you think of that song. And when you listen to that song, you think of that movie.
Yeah.
It's just so integrated to each other.
It must have been really hard to write It's just like
You rip off Huey
Ghostbusters.
Lewis, apparently.
Yeah, you rip off Huey Lewis and you write in Ghostbusters all the time.
Yeah.
Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Blah blah blah. Ghostbusters. Blah blah. Ghostbuster. Done. I wrote a song.
I actually really like that song, Huey Lewis. I Want a New Drug.
Yeah.
I used to love that song. Oh my God.
I love Huey Lewis.
Me too.
Do you think Ariel and Ren are still together?
Fuck no.
No, totally not.
They made it like a couple more months and then Ren went back to Chicago. I think she goes to New York and lives a whole other life.
Yeah. I think she probably marries a woman.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think I think there's a lot that's there that's just sort of like, I'm super into dudes. Like she's like so sexual. Like you kind of like wonder with like, I've had friends like that.
What was that again, Margo?
I've had friends that were like
super into dudes.
I love sex and I get laid all the time and I think about penis all the time and then later on they're like, and this is Maria and we're living together. I'm like, oh, okay.
Do you think Rusty and Willard are still together?
No,
she definitely moved away.
But I think Willard does better. I think he's improved by the situation. You know, he's a dancer now, and I think he has a little more confidence, and he's a nice guy.
They'll make a sequel to Footloose, and it's like Staying Alive. It's all about, but it's about Willard, and Willard goes to New York and like tries to like get a Broadway job. I'd actually watch that movie.
I would totally watch the shit out of that movie, to be honest with you. He and Ariel have lunch. Ariel's with her new girlfriend, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And he's like, remember Ren? And she's like, who? I don't remember who that is. Oh my gosh. Is there anything else we want to say about Footloose?
It's awesome.
It is.
It's pretty great.
It was so fun to rewatch.
It's a great payoff. It's not too deep. Don't dive too deep with it. I mean, it's problematic in some parts for sure. Anything is after a while.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. And the joy I feel at that last sequence, and they end it perfectly. Just end it at the dance. I don't need anything else. I just think it's perfect.
And one of my complaints always with movies is they go like 10 minutes too long.
Yeah.
Where it's like, and here they are in their new home and they're living happily ever after and blah, blah. It's like, I don't need any of that shit. Like, it just ends with a dance. Like, just end. It's great. Just the way it is.
Yep. I totally agree with you.
And it is like, it's so fun to rewatch. And I even love the opening credits with all the shoes, all the feet
Apparently
dancing.
that's all the crew members. Like
that's
they
awesome.
just like throughout the filming, they just had people doing that. And I just think that's what makes it really cute.
That's super cute. I didn't know that. I learned something today.
Yep.
Do you want to hear? We've already done like the top 10 movies of 84 because we've done other 84 movies, but I thought maybe you'd like to hear about some of the Oscar winners.
Sure. Go for it.
Okay. So you're going to hear a lot of Amadeus. Amadeus won everything at the Oscars. It won Best Picture. It won Best Director. It won Best Actor. Sally Field won for Places in the Heart.
I've never seen that still.
I saw it, but it's fine.
Right.
The Killing Fields. Hang S. Nor for The Killing Fields. I saw that, but I don't want to ever see it again.
It's a bummer.
It's just a little.
And then his life is a bummer.
Yeah.
Because he was killed. Yeah.
Pat Morita was nominated for The Karate Kid.
Thank goodness, Mr. Miyagi.
That's a good nomination. I like that. Places in the Heart for screenplay and Amadeus for adapted screenplay. Documentary features The Times of Harvey Milk. That's an awesome documentary. If you guys are looking for a recommendation, absolutely see that movie. Yes.
You have to see it.
It's so good. It's so good. And then I already told you about Song, and that's that.
Okay. Well, I found out a few of the top songs for the time.
Were they all Footloose?
There's one. So the number one song of the year was actually Prince, When Doves Cry.
Oh, yeah.
Love that song. Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It?
I love that. I love Tina Turner. You're
So
simply
good.
the best. I have to stop
Say-
singing. I'm going to scare our listeners away. I have to stop.
Say by Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson.
Oh,
Oy.
yeah. Yeah. Mm,
Footloose by Kenny Loggins, of course.
obviously.
Against All Odds, Phil
I
Collins.
see.
That song was everywhere.
I still love that song.
Oh, yeah. Jump by Van Halen.
Oh, yeah. That was a huge hit.
Huge hit. And then finally, we have Hello by Lionel Richie.
Oh, my God.
That song was huge, too.
I used to love Lionel Richie.
Me, too.
I had that album. Yep.
Dancing on the Ceiling.
Yep.
Yep.
All that. And what was the... Oh, he just had a ton, like You Are and Truly and, oh, God, Stuck on You. I loved Lionel Richie. I was super
He was
into
very
him.
appealing. He was appealing.
He was. What else are you dorking out about, Margo?
Well, so as we're recording this, Quentin Tarantino has his 9th movie out. Is it Once Upon a Time in America or in LA? But
In Hollywood.
in Hollywood, thank you. Sorry.
That's okay.
Couldn't get a ticket. It's through Alamo Drafthouse because that's the only way I see movies now.
Mhm.
And so instead of going to the movies, I'm scrolling through my Instagram, and I followed Danny Pellegrino, who has a reality podcast, reality TV podcast, and he brought up an episode of the Newlyweds, Nick and Jessica Simpson.
Oh, my God. Yes. I remember
I used
that.
to watch this, and it was an episode where Jessica, it's the 2nd season, and Jessica became a huge star and Nick did not. Like, the
It's
tension
true.
between them
Right.
was incredible. And she's constantly like going, because he was supposedly like the better singer or whatever. But so she has this beauty product that she's promoting. And it was like this lotion that you could taste, like you could eat it and put it on your skin. And it looks disgusting.
Ew.
But it was Dessert by Jessica Simpson.
What?
And I'm not
What?
kidding you. And the level of tension between Nick and Jessica is like palpable. And then the next level of tension between Jessica and Jessica's parents is also super palpable.
Oh my gosh.
And you watch this episode and like everything that was cute a year before, like there's this, at the very top of the show, she says, y'all, when I was in 7th grade, first day of 7th grade, the teacher asked, what are the 7 continents of the world? And she said, I raised my hand because I knew the answer. And I yelled out, A-E-I-O-U. So she was always kind of ditzy,
Mhm.
but and super hot, by the way. I forgot
Oh
how
my God.
sexy she was.
She had like this huge mane of blonde hair and like just a slamming tight body that
Oh
it was
my
ridiculous.
God. Yeah. And, Nick is cute too, but he's like nowhere near her.
Right.
Like yeah. And so there's this whole scene where she's taking pictures for this Dessert by Jessica Simpson's photo shoot. And she starts eating the stuff because they say you can eat it. And halfway through the shoot, she starts getting nauseous.
Oh my God.
And then she crawls to the bathroom.
Oh my God.
And her poor mother, who's her momager, says, it's okay, honey. They're in New York, by the way, when they're doing this. She's like, it's okay, honey. We're going to cancel the shoot. You obviously don't feel well. We'll take you to your hotel. We'll get a doctor. You're going to be okay. And Jessica is literally crawling on the floor
Oh my
in the
God.
hotel to her door. And her mother says to Nick, maybe you should help her. Nick doesn't say a word. And it turns out she had a stomach flu for 2 days.
Oh my
And
God.
they had to call the doctor to get an IV. And I was like, oh my God, like he fucking didn't even like pick her up or anything, like nothing. And so I go to Wikipedia and I look it up. She filed for divorce like 6 months later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good for you, Jessica.
Yeah.
You're the star.
You know what? And you know this to be true. When you are sick,
Yeah.
like, and you need someone to help you, this is when like your people come, like,
Yep.
this is their time to shine. And if they don't, well, you just made
Lose
the
'em.
fucking list.
Yeah. Yeah. He's so resentful of her on so many levels.
Right.
You can just tell. And it's crazy to watch it. But it was like this time capsule of like the early I don't even know when it was, like 2004, 2005.
That
But
sounds right.
Yeah, it sounds, yeah, that's about it. But anyway, I just went down that rabbit hole and I watched the episode, and it's just so multi-layered. And I looked it up, like, she like got her ass out of there. She's like, you know what, buddy? Nope. I'm going to make a lot of money on my own, and I don't need you.
Oh my God. She's still like, she has a fashion line, right?
She makes so much money with her name. And her husband is a former football player. And he's like, honey, you run the business. I'll just have babies with you and be awesome, you know? And that's the relationship. And like, that's what she needed.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
You know what? Yeah.
By the way, she sells like a lot of stuff through like Macy's.com, and some of it's really, really cute. So
the Jessica Simpson shoes are really cute.
Yeah. I used to have a pair of those. They were like the perfect black flats that I had from her. They were great.
Yeah. She's not that smart. I mean, there's a few times where she says things like she can't understand why bratwurst is white. And they're like, well, it's pork. She goes, well, why are pigs white? Is that a boar? They're like, no, that's pork. But she's like.
Or when she thought tuna, she was confused. Because
chicken of the sea.
Because the can said chicken of the sea. And she's like, I thought this was tuna, but I guess it's chicken. No. But
it's crazy because her parents split up a few years later, and then it turns out her dad is, I think he's come out as gay, but he's definitely putting off that vibe. Yeah. And you can see like he's having a conversation with his wife and his daughter, and he's angry. And it's like, he's the one, he's got tons of Botox in his face.
Yeah.
And tannerific and all that stuff. And his wife just looks like a normal woman. And he's angry at her. I'm like, oh, these men just hate their women.
Oh, my God.
And their women are amazing. Like, what the hell is your problem? But anyway, that's what I dorked out about this week. It's all on YouTube. Look it up.
That is some really good dorking out.
Oof.
I have been watching Fleabag.
Oh, isn't it the best?
It is the fucking best. So even David's watching it, you guys. That's how good it is. And we plowed through the first season, and we're 2 or 3 episodes into the second season, and it's just so good. It's funny as fuck and weird and dark, and she's amazing. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I love it. I can't believe I waited this long to watch it. She's so great in it, and I hope she wins like a million awards. It's just so, I love a show that surprises me in this, like every single episode. I was like, I didn't think that's where that was going. Like every episode. It's so
Wait
great.
till you keep going with it. I know. And then it's like, I want 2 more seasons. And she's like, nope, this is all I'm doing with the character. I'm going to do other stuff from now on. And good for her, but she's brilliant. She's so brilliant and funny and beautiful.
I know.
And everything.
And she's like 35. Fuck you, Phil. I hate you. No, I don't. I love her. I think she's so great. And I like that she's keeping it to 2 seasons. Like, and that's one of those things that like they do a lot on BBC that I love. Like, they don't always drag it out. You know, they like, this is the story we're telling, and they tell their story and then they end it. And I'm like, I'm into it. I like that.
So do I. I'm totally into that.
So I'm super into it. Where can people find you on the internet, Margo?
On social media, you can find me. My handle is at Brooklyn Fitchick, and I'm mostly there on Twitter and Instagram, not Facebook so much, but I do have a blog, and the blog is called brooklynfitchick.com. And all the stuff that I work on, meaning the podcast shows that I work on, I put there, including the Dorking Out show and What a Creep, which is catching on like wildfire.
Yeah, you guys, you should definitely be listening to What a Creep. It is, I know it sounds dark and weird, but it's actually really good and really fun. We're having a really good time, and it seems to be really catching on, and you should start listening. It's really good.
Yep.
And you can find everything about What a Creep at What a Creep. On Facebook and on Twitter, we're at CreepPod.
Yep.
You can find me at The Sonia Show. That's Sonia with an I. That's on Twitter and thesoniashow.com. And I just updated my blog with a new header and new content and everything. And I'm going to be trying a lot harder to update that more often. And
great.
Yeah. Blogging's my first love. I'm bringing blogging back, you guys. It's going to be cool again. You'll see. And you can find Dorking Out at dorkingout.com, and we're Dorking Out Show on Twitter and sometimes Facebook, not very often. Go to Apple Podcasts and give us a review. That would be a thumbs up, because most of our reviews are still really old, you guys. And I know you love Margo, so let's update it. And did I say everything? I think I did.
You said all the things.
I said all the things. Let's dance!